hoping to bring some of the good young players, because France is always a market, isn't it, that you can
Yeah.
pick up some proper bargains.
Yeah, no, it's Alfie said that your that graphic I had it was the setup in StreamYard didn't work, so hence I've just taken off the overlay.
You can see my
Uh,
bin now. My bin's too full, and I've got a bit of rubbish stacked on top of it.
you wouldn't know, mate. You wouldn't know. It'd be interesting how that unravels tomorrow. Will you be reporting on the game tomorrow,
Yeah,
George?
so all
From
of our stuff will come out like it did last time after the game. We got no live blogs and stuff because obviously the game isn't being streamed. But yeah, we'll be bringing some content from the game for sure.
Yeah, brilliant. I look forward to that. It'd be interesting to see if we do wear this brand new away kit. We're going to react to it, and I'm going to get George's opinion on it. And I'm going to get everybody that's tuning in your opinion on the brand new away kit, which was launched today. And here it is in all its glory. And we see Mateus Fernandez in it as well. I absolutely love it. George, big question, mate. Do you like it as much as I like it?
Yeah, do you know what? I do like it actually, because even though I didn't grow up as a Saints fan, and when they wore the kit like this previously, I wasn't even alive when that came out. So I don't have that nostalgia connected to it. But I do still think it actually looks nice. I think maybe if a club released a kit like this, they didn't have ones that look similar to it before, people would be going, what the hell is it? Because it's obviously very in your face. It's very garish, isn't it? It's blue and
Yeah.
yellow. It's not a combination that you'd probably think of for a football shirt, but it does look nice. I'm interested to see what the back looks like. So I know people have been sharing their opinions on the back of the home shirt with a massive white gap, and the red numbers doesn't quite look so
Yeah.
nice. I think the yellow and the blue might be a better combination on the back. And like you said, it'd be interesting to see if they do wear it tomorrow, because Valenciennes obviously wear red. So there is a chance, depending if Valenciennes have packed their away kits, then Saints perhaps will give this one a bit of a test run.
There's a memory of mine on the right hand side of the screen. Matthew Letitia, Le God, wearing this, the original back in around probably 95, 96 time. This would have been. He scored some goals in this kit, and yeah, it was one of my favourite ever Southampton away kits as a young boy growing up, actually. So massive affinity for me in this shirt. I absolutely love it. I really like it. Well done to Puma. Well done to the club. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. Like you say, the back is slightly better actually on the away, because it's more. I think it's a full yellow block with the stripes at the bottom, where the away shirt's just that all white back to it. So yeah, I like it. Be great to get everyone's opinions in the comments box below. But we're here to talk transfers this evening. George is here, and we're going to cover as much as we possibly can on this evening's show. George, there's a little bit of chat today that an ex-Saint is well, there's two ex-Saints being released from their current clubs. We'll start with the first one, Oxlade-Chamberlain. It looks like he's favouring a return to England. There's no danger of him coming to Southampton, though, is there?
I'd be baffled if he did. I think it comes up every summer. It feels like Oxlade-Chamberlain back to Southampton, and then you ask a couple of people, and they quite quickly tell you no, there's no chance of that. If you even just think about how Southampton have recruited players, they've gone for very young players who can, as Yannis Spors put it, regenerate quickly to play loads of games in the Championship. If you just look at Oxlade-Chamberlain's injury history, he does not fit into that whatsoever. And okay, they need a player who can play in his sort of position, but again, they'll go for a much younger profile than Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's probably towards the end of his career now, right?
Yeah, definitely. I don't see it happening really. He always suffered with injuries as it was, and yeah, I'm not convinced. But I reckon Birmingham City are also showing a bit of interest in him. They have signed, George. We should touch upon it really. They've signed loads of players, haven't they? They've had a really busy start to their transfer window back to the Championship for them, and it's reported they are quite interested in Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Yeah, I think the Kyogo signing is the big one for Birmingham, isn't it? Where you look at that and you think, well, he
Huge.
obviously did so well out in Celtic, didn't last long in France at all, and comes back in. They've got a couple of Japanese players at Birmingham already, I think, so he'll probably be able to settle in quite quickly there. But they've gone and signed players who've played Premier League football, and it'd be interesting to see what they do. So they have the momentum of coming out of League One, getting millions of points in that division, and keeping the same manager. Whereas perhaps that's going to be a bit easier for them at the start of the season, but it's how do they carry on and go? They kind of feel like a team who could do a little bit of an Ipswich, where they come up and they challenge again. Obviously, Ipswich did it spending much less money than Birmingham have done. So yeah, I'd be interested to see how they get on. And I think they actually play Ipswich on their first game of the season as well, the first game of the Championship season. So that'd be a good test for them.
Yeah, it will be a good test. Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see how they do, and Wrexham as well. Wrexham have been a little quieter at the start of this transfer window, but things will start to hot up. It has generally, George, been quite a quiet start to the
Mm.
transfer window. And you were speaking with Will Steele at the weekend. I saw some of your tweets. Did he refer to the slowness of the transfer window so far? We all expected Southampton to have a lot more players out the door than we
Mm.
currently have. Is there a reason for that? Do you feel?
Well, one of the things Will still pointed towards was the fact the market in general is quite slow. When you're a club like Southampton or anyone in the Championship, you're waiting for stuff to happen above you. The one team needs to sell a player, then someone goes and replaces them, and eventually it trickles down to the Championship. And we haven't seen that yet. Obviously, Saints getting rid of Kamaldeen Sulemana, Paul Onuachu quite early on, getting some money into the coffers, which is
Yeah.
quite good. Then you've got players like a Taylor Howard-Bellis who's injured at the minute. We kind of expect he might go and leave. Clubs will be after him, but is he going to be someone's first choice after the season he had last year in the Premier League? Maybe not. There's a lot of players that Southampton have got that are probably similar to that, and then the ones that like Matsuki, who could still go out on loan. Well, Will still wants to look at them first. He wants to give them 2-3 weeks to actually show themselves, because he
Okay.
doesn't want to judge players on what they did previously. Because someone like a Samadozi, who wasn't favoured last season in the Premier League, he doesn't want to judge him off of that and go, right, I don't want you either. Then he wants to give these players a chance to sort of show themselves. And Matsuki's, in terms of the fans, all of them is seeing what he's doing, and he thought he was brilliant in the game against Gillingham the other day. So he's probably
Yeah.
someone who's benefited from that, because he could have come back this summer, and the first week they send him back on loan to Göztepe or wherever it is. And okay, you get one player down from the squad, but you don't get a chance to see what these lads are about. And he's got a bit about him.
Yeah. No, you had the privilege of seeing that behind closed doors friendly. Was it Tuesday? Tuesday
Yeah, it was
you
on
were there?
Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah. Who shone? I've seen a few tweets about players that impressed, but for you personally, anybody really stand out performance wise?
Well, I think Matsuki was one. He had a couple of shots that were saved. He did quite well in the hour or so he played. I thought Jay Robinson looked quite good. Very different type of performance to his one against Eastleigh, where he was running at people and beating them all the time. It didn't really come off for him in the first half, especially, but he just kept going. He was absolutely puffing by the end of the game, because all he was doing was running around the pitch and trying to be positive every single time. Good to see Cameron Archer get another goal as well. I was just writing about it earlier. He's a player who, out of the three strikers Saints now have, with him, Ross Stewart and Damien Downs, he was probably the one that people weren't speaking about so much, right? Because you got Ross Stewart coming back fully fit, people thinking what he can do in the Championship. Damien Downs coming in, a new player. People always talk about new players, and Cameron Archer sort of drifted into the background, even though they spent so much
Yeah,
money
he
on him
did.
last
Yeah.
summer. And he looked a player totally shot of confidence in the Premier League. Didn't score a goal from December under Simon Rusk in his first interim spell against Liverpool till the end of the season. Didn't score a goal. So him getting a couple of goals, 2 goals in the first 2 games, is probably going to be massive for him. And he's got another game
Yeah.
to sort of strike once again before Damien Downs joins up with the squad in Spain. So yeah, I was quite impressed with the fact he scored again, because you just need strikers who score every single game. And if they can do that in pre-season, carry that through, happy days.
Yeah, I think Cameron Archer has a big season ahead. Like you said, he's confidence driven, and he's probably had it beaten out of him a bit. He's I've noticed last season, certainly under Rusk, he threw him in games that didn't suit him. I remember the game at Forest away, and he threw him in that day, and it was not a game for him. We played Man United, I think, in the midweek, and then he threw him in on the Sunday. I thought it was like, and he was desperate just for a bit of rhythm. And I think, don't you think as a striker you need rhythm, you need momentum, and then you start scoring goals, and it all starts to come together, doesn't it? You look at Armour. A couple of seasons ago in the Championship, he got early goals and he just kept that momentum going and kept it going. If Cameron could take this into the start of the season, he could be really big for us, couldn't he?
Yeah, I think so. I remember speaking to him after that Cardiff game where he scored 2 in the Carabao Cup, his first couple of goals for Saints, and sort of asked him what's he like when he steps out onto the pitch, and he said he doesn't actually like to think about football too much before stepping out. He wants to just go out and everything to come naturally, and you can't really do that if you're getting 15-20 minutes and you're trying to settle into a game where your team's already a couple of goals down, or if you're not scoring, you're not going to go onto the pitch with any confidence to just let things happen around you. He's a player who doesn't do a whole lot that you can see until he has that chance, and if he does get a chance, he's pretty decent at taking them. So if Saints can get him into positions, then I think he can score a lot of goals. But there's a couple of strikers at the club now who can score some goals. wait to see if they can actually do it in the Championship. It's all good doing it in pre-season or at previous clubs, but I mean, the Saints have needed that for years, haven't they? More than one striker.
Yeah.
Well, one striker would have been ideal in the last couple of years to score goals. But if you've got more than one, then happy days.
Yeah, because it's a big year for Ross Stewart, isn't it? We've spoken about it loads on the channel over the last couple of weeks, and I kind of feel it's a big year for him. It's nice to see him with a smile on his face. He's got a proper pre-season under his belt, but I just don't think he can have like huge amount of pressure lumbered on his shoulders, because he does suffer with injuries, and they're going to have to be really careful with him. He's not about to play week in, week out, and every game, is he, Ross? But he play a big role, I think, and obviously Damien Downs has come in, and I want to talk to you about Damien Downs, because Alfie told me you would you have a system where you watch a lot of players, you like a scouting system, and he said that you took a bit of time to watch Damien Downs. We've all seen YouTube clips. You've probably seen more of him than any of us. Have you been impressed by what you've seen of him in the research you've done?
Do you know what? He's a really interesting player. I think one of the things I can't quite work out is if he's really quick or not. Because there's a couple of clips I watched him running in behind, and he gets through to goal and he has a good shot, and it might get saved or it might go in, or he bombs down the wing and he does quite well. And there's other clips where he's running through on goal and the ball gets stuck under his feet. He's a big lad, to be fair, so I can see how the ball gets stuck under his feet. But then someone asked Malik Tillman, his USA teammate, and asked him to describe him, and he said, "Oh, he's very good at shooting and he's very quick." So I'd be willing to trust the person who's seen him in training and can tell that he's quick, having seen him up close and personal. But if you're bringing in a striker who's 6'3", 6'4", I'm not too sure which one of those he is, because different clubs and his international USA say 6'4", Saints said he was 6'4", Köln said he's 6'3", so he's a big lad. That's what we do know. He's decent in the air without being particularly special in the air for someone with his size, but he has scored two late goals, late winners from corners, from heading it in. And he's a player who, he still looks like he's a little bit rough when he gets the ball. He likes to drop deep, but he also likes to run in behind. And from the two games you've watched from Will Still, I'm pretty sure he'll be running in behind more so than come in deep. I don't think he's the finished article. I know he's got a decent track record, scored a goal every 167 minutes, which is decent, but I think he may have a bit of an adjustment period coming into English football, first time playing outside of Germany. Obviously, he speaks perfect English, so there'll be no issues there. So I'll be interested to see if he comes in and is immediately seen as that first choice striker. I wonder how much Cameron Archer's decent start to pre-season or Stewart getting a goal will make it a bit more difficult for Will Still to pick out who he wants that first choice player. But I think he does look like someone who, if it comes together for him, could be brilliant, because he's got all the physical profile that you want of a striker. It's just, can he get those goals? Can he get them early on? Put that to bed. Don't worry about failing when you're moving across to a different country. A couple of goals under his belt and he could be all right. But like I said, I don't think he's the finished article at all yet. But that's not what Saints can sign. If you're dropping into the Championship, you're not going to sign the finished article for a striker. So it'd be interesting to see how he gets on.
He's young as well. He's only 20 years old, and so he's still really young. It's a big move. You come to England, another country, a league that's physical, a league that's not an easy league to go and play football in, as we've already found out. I'm intrigued by him. There's a few people in the conversation in the comments, and they're talking about wingers. It's an area we have to be looking at a winger, surely. For you, Jay Robinson, like you said, he played really well at Eastleigh at the weekend. Maybe you said he had a slightly different role against Gillingham, but in that behind closed doors friendly. Do you see a winger being really, really important?
Yeah, I think once they've managed to get a few players out of the club, I want them to go and sign a winger. And I know when Alfie was speaking to Dragan Solak, he said he didn't want to rely on signing loan players, but they acknowledged a player in that sort of wing number 10 position, because they are so expensive to get someone.
Yeah.
Similar to David Brooks, the quality he had. I know everyone goes back and remembers the miss. Well, he didn't even have a shot against Cardiff when he sort of totally fluffed that. But he played a role in getting the club promoted. And you're not going to be able to go and sign a player of that prestige on a permanent transfer without spending a lot of money. So I imagine that's probably one where they might hold off and wait till they know who's going to stay. We've seen the Sam Edozie rumours. Interestingly, Ryan Fraser's been playing more centrally under Will Still in the two games so far. So I don't even necessarily see him as being a winger anymore. Obviously, he can play there, but his legs have gone compared to how quick he used to be. And he didn't play any football last season, so his legs have probably gone even more so. So I kind of look at him maybe as a more central player, and then you're left with real bare bones. You can't rely on a youngster like Jay Robinson to be the one in the Championship when you've got so many games. And we saw what happened to Tyler when he played loads last season, sort of felt the physical effects of that at the end of the year. So I'll be surprised if they don't sign a winger, but we've not heard anything in terms of someone being close. There's not been any sort of rumours either, is there? So I'll wait and see on that one.
Yeah, it's gone really quiet on players coming in. Tyler Dibbling, there's always speculation, there's always conversation around Tyler Dibbling. I'm told there's no concrete offers being made for Tyler Dibbling at this moment in time. Do you see a club coming in and paying that potential asking price for Tyler?
Yeah, I think probably someone will, because I know he didn't end last season great, but he started it brilliantly, and he's got that profile of what people want. He can be explosive, he can beat players. He's a bit of a confidence player, is what he kind of looks like now, right? Because he had a lot of confidence beaten out of him, that ability to run past a man beaten out of him. And he's probably another player who's waiting for the domino effect of transfers to happen and to finally land on him. I think obviously Saints want a lot of money for him, and I don't see a foreign club wanting to pay the sort of 40-50 million pounds for him. I know he's been linked to moves to Germany, but you look at how much Bayern Munich paid for Michael Elise, and I can't remember exactly how much it was, but I think Saints want more for Diblin, and they're not on the same level yet. So it'd be interesting to see where he does land, but I would be surprised if he is still here, because he is Southampton's most sellable asset. I know they haven't got massive financial pressures to sell players as they did last time they came into the Championship, but if someone comes in for him, they'll probably accept it, because it's money that you can't really turn down as a Championship team.
Yeah, be interesting to see what happens with Aaron Ramsdale as well. There's still talk around him where he could end up. There was in my show I did on the weekend, there was talk about Sunderland potentially very keen to take him to the Stadium of Light. There seems to be very limited options at the moment. In sort of everybody's probably done their goalkeeping business at the moment until pre-season gets started. I feel it's going to be a late one with Ramsdale, and it'll almost be right into the last couple of weeks when a club probably ends up with a keeper get injured in the next couple of weeks, and they go into a start of a Premier League campaign with a number 2. Do you see the same? Do you see the same happening? That it'd be a late one.
That was my gut feeling. Obviously, he came to Saints very late because he was holding out and seeing what options he had, and eventually picked and decided that Saints was the best one. And it's interesting you mentioned there that keeper maybe getting injured at another club, and then they go, right, we can get Ramsdale, because Saints, or Dragon Solak specifically, is open to letting him leave on loan and come back to Saints next season when they go into the Premier League. So that would work in terms of a keeper gets injured. And Manchester United is the one that sort of strikes me. I think Onana got injured recently. I think it's a long injury, but he's better than Onana.
It'd be an upgrade.
Man United could have him for a year and then go and sign another keeper permanently, or get Ramsdale if he doesn't end up coming back to Saints. But I don't see him as being someone that a club's going to go, right, who's our first or second signing of the season? Right, let's go and spend 20 odd million on a goalkeeper. Like you say, you do your other bits of business, and then you might go, right, we've got 25 million pounds left. Our keeper's not great. Let's go and get Ramsdale then.
Yeah. Be interested to see what happens in the goalkeeping department. I've spoken about it loads over the last sort of month or two, and there was a link with Asmir Begovic a couple of weeks ago as a potential third choice. Do you see, because I don't see Alex McCarthy necessarily being the number one, because I don't think he'd be able to be fit enough. He picks up niggles a lot if he could play a whole campaign. Do you feel they probably got enough with the two, like with Zunu and McCarthy, to sort of fight it out for number one? Or do you feel they had to bring in like somebody that would come in as the number one and not a number 3?
I think it's interesting, because Bazunu has obviously never covered himself in loads of glory at Saints. You look at his stats and it suggests he's probably a worse keeper than he is. And he is prone to making a mistake. And I think a lot of fans would see him as a first choice goalkeeper and be a bit worried because of his track record. But on the other hand, he has also shown in moments that he can be a great goalkeeper. I think Alex McCarthy's fine for the Championship at his age as well. You're not going to move him on, and you're not really going to get a better shot stopper than him in the Championship for a team going for promotion as well. They'll need to bring in another goalkeeper if Ramsdale does leave, because a lot of the 21s keepers have gone. Obviously, Joe Lumley was third choice or fourth choice, depending on how you look at it. He's gone as well. They've only got teenagers now in the academy goalkeeping department. So if Ramsdale does leave, they will need to go out and sign someone. And again, it just comes down to how much they want to invest in a goalkeeper, right? Because if you've got two already, people could look at it and go, well, if we're going to sign a third one, let's sign someone who's better than the goalkeepers we've got. Or they could go the Joe Lumley route, where you pick up someone who's available on a free or someone who's available on a loan, and you just fill out the squad. I'd be interested, because I don't know who's great in the goalkeeper market at the moment, to be fair. I don't see many people saying, oh, this goalkeeper's great, he needs to move up the championship to a top championship club. And perhaps that's where Johannes Spohr's knowledge of the German market comes back in, and German keepers are much better than British goalkeepers. So if they go over there and pick someone up from the German market, then I'd have a bit more confidence in them than a sort of veteran EFL goalkeeper.
Yeah, and the goalkeeping coach now is from I think he's coached in Europe. I don't know loads about the goalkeeping coach, but he would know keepers across Europe as well. And he's certainly from France, where they were before. He was with, I think, was he with Will still, the goalkeeping coach? I think he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, sort of briefly. Yeah, he was with, what's his name, Oscar Garcia, I think, the bloke who Will still previously worked under. So they've got that relationship there. I don't think they worked loads together in France, but they crossed paths certainly.
Yeah, we'll be interested to see what happens in the goalkeeping department. I'm intrigued. Kyle Walker-Peters, there's an interesting story around him today, George, as well, isn't there? West Ham United and now in for him. What happened with his move? He was on his way to Turkey, wasn't he, at the weekend? And is it all fallen through?
Well, yeah, so they're very different in Turkey, where they'll announce a transfer before the players seemingly even arrived in the country, because they were telling fans, right, he's coming in, he's flying in, he's going to come for his medical. Almost telling fans, right, come greet him at the airport. Because I remember when Onuachu first went out to Turkey, he rocks up at the airport, scarf around his neck, and all the fans are there all of a sudden, as if they know he's coming in. That's probably why, because they'll put it out there. But from what Besiktas have said, is Kyle Walker-Peters asked to delay coming out. He's supposed to fly out last night, I'm pretty sure, maybe 2 days ago now, and didn't go. He asked for an extension, and they decided, you know what, no, we're not going to sign you then. We're going to pull the plug on the transfer, because it hadn't gone through. He ended his medical and all that sort of stuff. And I was looking through the Besiktas comments, which is always hard to do, because about 4,000 on them by 2 minutes after the post went up.
It's huge club, isn't it? Huge club.
Yeah, and a lot of their fans were complaining that once again they've seemingly mentioned that a transfer was going to happen, and then it doesn't happen. So maybe they've just gone very early and Kyle's not fully agreed to it, or maybe, as you say, West Ham have come in for him, and ultimately West Ham is the club that Kyle Walker-Peters should be going to over them. And Besiktas, yes, Besiktas are playing European football, but Kyle told us about a year ago now he wants to get back into an England fold, and he's not going to do that if he's going out and playing in Turkey, whereas he can become something at West Ham. He can play on both sides of the defence, and can probably establish himself and look to really be that Premier League player that he wants to be for a consistent number of years, rather than dropping in and out.
Yeah, we'll be talking about fullbacks. We should talk about another fullback. I saw one of your tweets today, actually, and you spoke with Ryan Manning. I think you've done an article on it, so anybody wants to go check it out, make sure you go subscribe to The Echo. George does a lot of great articles there. You maybe want to give a little snippet of it, but make sure if you want the full article, head over to The Echo. But Ryan Manning did have a chat with you in the last few days?
Yes, we actually spoke to Alfie, and then Alfie just sent me the audio, because I spoke to Sugawara, and then Alfie ended up using just the way we work. And Ryan was talking about sort of the freedom to attack that Will Still's given the side, and Yuki also talked quite similarly about it. And from what you can gather, is he's basically told the players, be pretty simple, don't do anything stupid, get to the edge of the box or get near the goal, and then take a risk. And as Ryan Manning pointed out, if you're someone who wants to cross the ball, cross the ball. If you want to dribble at someone, dribble at someone. If you want to score goals, then you need to shoot. And that's what we haven't really seen, because Saints have been coached by managers who have been very, very systematic in how they want to play, passing the ball around the notebooks, what Russell Martin wanted to do. And Will Still is quite a major change to that, right? If he just wants to attack all the time, then that's probably what players want to do, even though players told us they also want to have possession. I feel like every time you ask a player about tactics, they just say, yeah, this is what I want to do. They're never going to say publicly, no, this is terrible.
No, I don't want to do it. No. I
don't know, the manager's telling me not to do it. But yeah, I like what I'm hearing from what Will Still is telling the players, in terms of just go and score some goals, because that's all we want to see, is Saints scoring 2 or 3 goals a game, and hopefully not conceding 4 and 5.
Yeah, I touched upon it on Sunday when I did a live stream about the fitness levels. I think there's a massive improvement in the fitness levels already, and I know we're so early into pre-season, but watching the way that he set the team up to play and what he was asking of his front 3-4 players, the way he wanted them to press, but also the running off the ball as well. There's a lot more running off the ball, isn't there? And certainly, like for anybody that was there at the weekend, the change in the half time when he changed the teams, the team that finished, he absolutely drilled them, the fitness stuff, didn't they? They had them sprinting, they had them running. And the same with at the end of the second half, they did at the final whistle, the team that finished the game, they were running, sprinting, proper warm down and, proper putting them through their paces, weren't they?
Yeah, as much as we look at the results, and that's the first thing people talk about, or they've won 2-1 or they've won 4-1 across 260 minutes. Like, this is ultimately just get some minutes in the legs, get as fit as you can, because the Championship, you have to be unbelievably fit if you want to play and feature in as pretty much all the games you can. And I think obviously Will Still's style is a bit more press heavy. He wants players to make those pressing movements, and he wants those penetrating runs as he describes them. And particularly against Gillingham, we saw more players going forward and joining attacks. There was one point where James Bree, the right back, was up joining, I think it was Cameron Archer at the time, basically as another striker. So he wants players to get up and down the pitch. And yeah, in pre-season, if you want them to do that in actual games, you've just got to get them to run so that they can do that when they need to do it.
I thought Charlie Taylor played quite well at fullback on the weekend in that first half. I thought he looked quite solid. Charlie Taylor, a lot of talk though around Norwich City being quite keen on him. Do you think he'll stay, or do you think he could be one of those that could exit in the window? When we talk about exits, there's not been many. Could he be one?
Well, I would have said pretty much not bang on, because I don't know for sure that he's going to leave, but he is sort of the third choice left back, isn't he? You've got Ryan Manning's ahead of him and Wellington's ahead of him. And then going into that game against Gillingham, he comes out in the second half playing centre-back, wearing the captain's armband. So it sort of completely blows your head up, and you don't sort of know anymore. Because if someone's wearing the armband, even if it's in a pre-season game, and they didn't have a load of experienced players on the pitch, he was playing next to Quashie, had Shea Charles in front of him, and a couple of other inexperienced players. So probably he was the most experienced player on the pitch. So he's kind of de facto got the armband. But you don't tend to just hand the armband out to someone who
just to someone that might leave.
So it'd be interesting to see what happens there. But he probably is one of the players they can lose the most, because they've got players in that position who are younger than him, maybe better than him, and have more resale value. Charlie Taylor, you're not going to get heaps of money for him. I think his contract's probably up at the end of next season, right? So, or the end of this season. So he's the one out of the left backs, and even centre back. I don't think you can then move him into the centre-back group, because Saints have got about 15 centre-backs at the minute. So it's another position that they don't need.
There's a lot, isn't there?
Piling in. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. But I would have told you a couple of days ago, I think he'll probably go, and then you see him with the armband and you start doubting yourself.
Yeah, no, be interesting to see what happens at fullback, whether James Bree can really make a stake for right back. I think he could. I still think he has a big part to play. Him and Yuki Sugawara could fight that out. I think there's loads to happen, loads of players to leave yet. They need to raise funds. They're going to have to bring some money in like they did last time. Like you said, they're probably not as much as last time round, but that squad is just, it must be tough to work with them day in, day out when you've got that amount of players. And you know that a lot of them, he's already had the conversations with many, and he knows that a few of them probably want to move on now. So it must be, it's a tough time, isn't it, George, at this moment in time?
Well, they're already having to, they do it anyway in pre-season, where you split the minutes across different teams and lineups, but they've got so many players to even welcome back. Like Mateus Fernandes, we were told, was coming back to training on Wednesday. So I don't think we'll see him. He's only been in 2 days. I'd be baffled if he plays minutes. But Jan Bednarek, Ronnie Edwards, players we haven't seen. Howard Bellis is still injured. That's 4 more to join the group, and I'm probably forgetting some as well, because the squad is so huge. They undoubtedly need to get rid of players. It's not a bad thing having depth and options, but when you've got depth and options to the point where you actually don't know who your 4 best centre backs are, because you've got another 4 who are probably just as good, then you just ultimately need to get rid of players, and that is going to be quite hard, because not a load of players who are sort of those fringe players. Like, you look at what they did last season, and they're not going to be calling out for teams. Well, that's what you think until you then see Kaldin Sulemana goes to Atalanta, and he's going to be playing Champions League football. I've done nothing for 2.5 years, so hopefully they can sell some players to some clubs and put a really nice compilation together for some of them, I suppose. The ones who have not done too much in the last year or two.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. A few other bits of transfer news I was reading last couple of days, George. I see that Barry Bannon, I didn't realise he was out of contract at Sheffield Wednesday. There was talk that he could end up at Wrexham. What else have I seen today? Craig Dawson is also available as well. And I reckon Wrexham are also looking at him. It's going to be a big summer for a lot of clubs in the Championships, certainly the promoted three. And I said to Benjamin Bloom when he joined me on Monday about the pressure that those three that have come up could potentially put on the rest of the division. Charlton coming up as well, a manager that knows the league really, really well. Wrexham looking like they're going to get busy in the window. How do you see the three faring that have come up?
I think we touched on it earlier, didn't we? I think Birmingham look the strongest. I don't know what to think about Wrexham, because they've come up and they've always just bought players who are too good for the level or are too experienced for the level they're at. Like they go and get Jay Rodriguez, who didn't do a great deal in League One, but he's played Premier League, he's played for England, he's a good player.
Experience.
So they go and get him in, and he's better than anyone in League One for his career. But they can't really do that in the Championship. They can't go out and get Premier League or players who just about not Premier League level anymore.
Yeah, it's tough.
Because they'll have to spend loads of money on them, and they're coming up, they've got the momentum behind them, and obviously they play Saints first day, but I think they'll just go out and sign a load of veterans like they always do. And I never really know how that's going to work in a Championship season where you could literally lose any game and you could win any game. I think League One it's not quite the same. You've got a bit more of a top and a bottom of that division.
Yeah,
and
a bit more split.
Charlton, I don't know a great deal about the Charlton squad, to be fair, so I couldn't tell you how they're going to get on. I just know that we're going to see Nathan Jones on the Twitter timeline all the time whenever he does his interviews and he says something vaguely interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I've really enjoyed you coming on tonight, George. It's been brilliant. Really good numbers tuning in, watching. So thank you for everyone watching. Before you go, George, I was just going to talk about the calendar and how things look at the club. You're on the inside in terms of media. You know how the calendar looks for the next 7 days. How does it pan out? Because there's a training camp coming up, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. Do you know, you've actually asked the wrong person at the Echo, because I'm not too sure the training camp looks, because I'm not going. Alfie's the one who's probably got a better insight on that. But obviously they play Valenciennes tomorrow, then they'll be heading out to Spain, and while they're out in Spain they've got a friendly against Espanyol, so more minutes in the legs. They'll be training in Spain, even though it has been warm in the UK. I imagine Spain's going to be a totally
notch up, won't it? That's for sure.
Yeah.
It'd be a notch up. It'd be really, really good. Yeah, Alfie's saying it in the comments below because he's watching. Alfie, thanks for watching, mate. We really appreciate it as always. Charlton squad is poor, but Nathan Jones will keep them up. Yeah, I absolutely agree with him on that. I think they will do as well. So a busy couple of weeks. You've got a game tomorrow. Make sure you're following George. George, where can we all find you? For those that are tuning into the channel that don't know where to find you, where can they go and find you, mate?
On Twitter, at Rees_Julian. I have to remember that then, because I don't like Twitter anymore. It's a bit naff.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it.
On there, or just go straight to the Echo website. We'll have all the stuff after the game against Valenciennes tomorrow. I'm not sure what time they'll be going up, but we'll have stuff up there. So
yeah, I need to redo my subscription. I need to do a subscription for the Echo. Need to do it. It's always worth it. I've always enjoyed it when I've had it before. It's you guys to just bring such in depth from inside the club is brilliant, and the research you've done on Damien Downs as well. Brilliant to get your thoughts on him tonight as well. We were very lucky to have Alfie join us last week and you join us this week here on the channel. So thank you very much for your time. And would you come back again? That's a big question.
100%, mate. Yeah, just let me know when you want me on.
Brilliant. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do. 5,000 subscribers this week was a big milestone for the channel. So thank you to everyone that has hit that sub button. Make sure you do if you haven't done so. And if you haven't followed George over on X, make sure you do. I'll see you in another live stream very soon.